We want to know the secrets to creating viral content.
Super flush on this side. Let's give it a spin.
I came up with 5 parts viral content formula.
Brandon.
I'm Brandon B. Hey, I'm Brandon B.
I create some visual effects, illusions online.
7 billion views across all of our videos. Third highest YouTube short of all time. When you've created a video, you put your blood, sweat and tears into it. You click that upload button and it flops. Every single creator had a list of laws that they stuck to every time they created a piece of content. 5 parts, viral formula. Rule number 1, the first frame. Number 2, doubling down. Number 3, dual engagement. Audience retention, the 5th rule. And to be honest, this is the only rule that matters. You can ignore everything else I've said, and it's simple. It's called my Viral 101. So, this is a little workshop that I love to run. It's called my Viral 101. Of course, every single one of us in the room, we want to know the secrets to creating viral content. Today, I'm going to expose everything to you guys. I'm not leaving anything to myself, and I'm going to give every single person in this room the secrets to how I create viral content. Now, I want to kick off by saying it's an absolute honor to be here. I got to watch Naz a few months back at a Meta event, and Naz, one of the best speakers I've ever heard. So, Naz, it's time to show you who's the real boss here and give it a go myself. So, kicking things off, what better way, rather than telling you about myself, than showing you a video.
Going on.
It's always such a fun way to get started, but everyone loves how it starts. So, I assume the answer is everyone, but I want to see everyone raise their hands here. Who in this room has created a piece of content before? Let's see them. Brilliant. Amazing. Now, I'm sure every single person, myself included in this room, has had that feeling when you've created a video, you put your blood, sweat and tears into it, you click that upload button, and it flops. And it can be quite demotivating. And from myself, and I've been doing this for about 8 years now, I've got to a point where I couldn't just rely on fate to see if my videos were going to go viral. I had to come up with some sort of precise formula, some sort of plan to make sure that every time I uploaded a video, without fail, it would go viral. So, after a long time of working with a bunch of different creators and really finessing a specific plan, I came up with the 5 parts viral content formula. But before I give away all my secrets, I want to talk about how I got to where I am today, how I came to learn these things, and where the story really started. So for me, the story starts as 12-year-old Brandon. I stole my brother's iPod, I downloaded an app that allowed you to do visual effect videos on them, and created this. It doesn't look like much, but this video it is what was the birth for me of creating these cool special effect videos. This is where the journey really began. I became hooked, I became super fascinated with the idea that I could create something on an iPod, show my friends and family. They'd pretend to be really amazed, but that was enough for me. That is what inspired me to carry on perfecting my craft, making it bigger and better. I would lock myself in my bedroom after school. I would lock myself in on the weekends. Wouldn't go out and play sports like most kids, which is why I've got no eye-hand coordination now. But I got better and better at creating these visual effect videos. Eventually, I managed to land myself a job within TV. Started off as a runner. I'd scrape gum off the floors and pick up rubbish, and eventually became a camera operator, getting to shoot these incredible adverts, getting flown all around the world, meeting the biggest A-listers in the world. It was at that point, finally, my parents were proud of me, hurrah! But it didn't last, because soon I was to let them know that, unfortunately, Mum and Dad, I was going to be dropping out of the world of TV, because I wanted to work in social with 2 guys with 50,000 followers. Now, unfortunately, to the outside world, no one else was really into it, but because I'd spent my entire life up until this point watching YouTube videos, obsessing over content creation, when I'd met these 2 guys, Woody and Kleiny, who had successfully built up an audience online, I was obsessed. I suddenly threw all my eggs into their basket, and said to them, guys, I will do anything to come and join you. I'll come and shoot content for free. I just want to learn how this world works. So we started creating content together. We combined what they knew with the world of social media and what I knew with visual effects and started creating these fun videos. Oh, it's not playing. There you go.
Yeah. Cheers. Now, of course, working in the world of social, it wasn't all just fun, cool VFX videos. It had to have that organic feel as well. And I did find myself getting caught under a prank or two.
Yeah, gotta love them. Throughout the process, I just had the most incredible opportunities learning from the best of the best. These guys were absolutely killing it, racking up millions and millions of views with videos they were shooting at home and on iPhones. I then had the privilege to start working with a bunch of other cool names, Julius Dean, Choo, Luca, and got to learn from them and see how they were creating their content as well. And the more creators I worked with, the more I started to see this commonality. Every single creator had a list of laws that they stuck to every time they created a piece of content. As time went on, I decided to work with Woody and Kleiny full-time to become their directorial producer, helping to launch their YouTube channel. We created for the next 4 years some of my favorite wholesome videos, and we exploded their channels across platforms to over 25 million followers. So you're probably wondering, where does the brand and B kick off? Where did I actually get my start into this journey? So a few years ago, whilst we were creating content on YouTube, unfortunately, we all know COVID-19 kicked in, and we couldn't carry on creating content. I tried saying to the guys, let's make videos over Zoom or go to the park 2 meters apart, but unfortunately, nothing had that authentic feel. So we decided we'll take a little break, everyone chill for a bit. I'd sat at home on that first day of lockdown and thought to myself, there is no way I'm just going to sit here for the next 3 weeks. So I made a pact with myself. I said, I'm going to upload a brand new video to my own social media pages, which I'd never posted on before, every day until lockdown was finished. What was supposed to be a 3-week lockdown turned into a 3-month lockdown, but I kept to my pact. And by the end of the lockdown, I'd left with over 1 million followers. Now, off the back of growing the socials, I decided it was time to start taking things to the next stage, start expanding the team. So I brought in a team in-house to help me start creating these videos and set up Studio B, our production company. And off the back of that, we started creating these incredible digital assets for a bunch of brands, which hopefully you recognize. Oh, the screen down here is different to the one up here. But we'll carry on anyway, we can run it. So it was at this point in time I started to realize that everything that I'd been learning within this space, everything that I'd been doing for other creators over and over again, I was able to replicate myself by simply copying and pasting the formula. Everyone had their own specific things that they would use when creating content. It was my job to look at those specific in and outs and try and work out how I could replicate those for myself and on my own pages. Which takes us to the 5-part viral formula. Rule number 1, the first frame. Every time we create a piece of content, we are hyper-focused on the first frame. When we started creating content 5 years ago on YouTube, we were so fixated on the first 30 seconds of a video and making sure we were hooking people in. As the YouTube got more saturated, 30 became 10, 10 became 5. Until TikTok came along and just ruined it all for everyone. We then had to start focusing on making the first second of a video extremely, extremely compelling. As time's gone on over the years, that second has now gone down to the very first frame. You always hear people talk about how much they analyze thumbnails. A lot of YouTubers like MrBeast would say the thumbnail is equally important to the video. I think how that translates into short form content is your first frame of your video is the new version of the thumbnail. So when we create our content in-house, we look at this and we reverse engineer the process. Here are 3 of our highest performing videos, and all 3 of these videos, we came up with what the first frame of the video was before we shot the video. So, on the left, let's break these apart. I saw this video online of someone lighting a firework. It's from a third-person point of view, and I wondered, what would that look like if we saw someone from POV lighting a firework? If you had someone's hand holding a sparkler on one side of the frame and the firework in the distance, it doesn't matter what language you speak, it doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter your gender, everyone can understand the story that we're telling, and you're hooked, and you want to watch the rest of the video. Same again here, we've got an elevator doors opening with a plank coming off the edge, off the top of a skyscraper. And finally, I love this one because it's just so fun and cool. We've just got a huge 50-foot ice cream in the background, which just looks fun. So these videos, we reverse engineered what they were after working out what the first frame was. And all 3 of these videos have now hit over 100 million views. Number 2, doubling down. I love this one because doubling down is the easiest thing in the world. It's going to make your life so much easier when creating content. When I speak to creator friends, much of the conversations is people saying how they're struggling to come up with their next video idea when the answer's right in front of them. The best way I love looking at these videos that we've created in the past is data sets. So we've created tons of assets. Now I've created thousands of videos. Let's look at those thousands of videos as our data sets to inform our next content creation pieces. So here was a video we created. This is what a $500 firework looks like. It was great, did 69 million views, we were very happy. And we realized, we were like, okay, we've created a viral using this formula, this very specific set of ideas, and we've been able to create a huge video. I love thinking of videos as unlocking a padlock. There's a specific number of combinations of codes you need to get right to hit that viral video. And if you've done everything right in the process, all the way from one side to the other, take that formula and make it better. So, what came next? After the $500 firework came the $1,000 firework. We took that video, we made it bigger, and we made it better. And that one hit over 245 million views. So most of the people that saw the part 2 of the video hadn't even seen the part 1 because we took what we knew worked and we made it better. Number 3. Dual engagement. So dual engagement's a funny one because it exposes all of us as human beings. Dual engagement plays into how much attention all of us need to stay hooked into pieces of content. And don't just blame Gen Z, it's all of us. I'm sure we've all seen these videos on our timeline before, whether it's a split screen of a Subway Surfers or a Family Guy or a South Park or a satisfying video. I'm getting lots of nods, so I know I'm the right direction. These types of videos are hooking viewers in because they're giving the audience the chance to watch 2 pieces of content at once. We're now at a stage as humans where one short form video, one 8-second video isn't enough to keep us hooked. So we need 2 at the same time. So you're probably sitting here going, Brandon, great, this is cool. I don't want to start putting Subway Surfers clips next to my videos. Me too, I agree. But let's break it apart. Let's understand what's actually happening here. The idea behind this rule is that as humans, we need at least 2 stimuli to stay hooked to a short form video. But how do we do that in practice? The clip I'm about to show you on the next video is myself with Tom Holland. It was a piece of the camera. It was a promotional piece we did where he was telling me a story about him making cocktails, about him at a night out. And we edited it in a way where we were telling 2 stories at once. Let's see if you can work it out.
One of my favourite bars in London, which is the Chiltern Firehouse, and I convinced the bartenders there to let me go behind the bar and serve people drinks. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Did people notice, like, Tom Holland serving?
Yeah, it became a bit of a thing, and then I think management got involved and were like, can you stop letting him behind the bar?
Woo, here we go. Awesome. So, in reality, when we shot this, these 2 things were happening separately. Tom was telling his story whilst holding the drinks, but was not making any cocktails. And then he would shake and make his cocktails, and we'd have all these cool shots of the progression of the drink. But we edited it in a way where it looked like those 2 things were happening simultaneously. So as a viewer, you were able to stay hooked to both what he was making and what he was doing with his hands and the story he was telling. So 2 engagement points to keep people hooked. But, you know, not in every scenario where you can suddenly just tell your actor to make some cocktails. So what do you do when you're in a scenario where it's a Q&A and you don't have that opportunity?
If you were stuck in a lip with any other boxer, past or present, who would you want it to be?
Jake Paul. So this was a video that we made with Tyson Fury. And of course, in this scenario, I couldn't have said, hey, Tyson, sorry, one sec. Do you mind grabbing these cocktail flasks and just shaking up a quick drink? So we had to make do what we had with the footage. So in this instance, we used text animation as the second stimuli point. Pretty much in any editing app right now has incredible advancements of being able to do these awesome text animations. When you have nothing else at your disposal that you can use as your second engagement point, simply just putting cool text on screen that allows the viewer to stay hooked into that whilst watching the piece of content can be enough. Up next, audience retention. So one of my favorite things whenever I get the opportunity of going to any of the social media platforms is trying to find any of the engineers, the people working behind the scenes. And I'm like, guys, give me the secrets. What do I need to know? And I always land on the same answer. It's audience retention. As creators, every single person in this room needs to understand the operation of the platform and how they work. And it's simple. The goal of social media platforms is to serve users as many ads as possible by keeping them on the platforms for as long as possible. Okay, great. So we know the job of the social media platforms. What do we need to do as creators then? Simple. If the role of the platforms to keep people on for longer, then as creators, we need to keep people hooked on our content for longer. So how do we do it? Let's watch this piece of content and see if we can see what we've done here. This is what a $500 firework looks like. She's lit. It's gone. Oh my God. Quick, quick, quick. What the? Who saw what we did? Hands up. A few. So, it was all in the hook. Within that very first second, we told you what the final punch of the video was. We told you why you had to stay on that video to the very end. We delivered that at the very start of the video, and as soon as we delivered on that promise, ended the video. If I'd created that video and ended it, carried it on for another 10 seconds after that explosion, I guarantee you our retention rate would have been half. People stayed on that piece of content because we set up a narrative and we delivered on it. And off the back of that, we hit a retention rate of 141%. Final. This is it. The fifth rule. And to be honest, this is the only rule that matters. You can ignore everything else I've said, but if you only listen to this one thing, you'll work out the rest as you go. And it's simple. Create content you love. You knew it was coming. It's the cringiest one of all, but it's the only one that actually matters. There are so many content creators out there, all creating their own types of content and a million different niches. And if you're not genuinely honing in on that weird thing that you think you love that no one else loves, I promise you there's an audience out there for it. You won't see the huge success. If Francis Bourgeois has built a career of train spotting, whatever it is, that thing that you're super passionate about, you can turn into a career and build into your content journey. And using those 5 rules, I've managed to work with some of the coolest names and the coolest faces in the game. Built an incredible team of creator-first digitals. Worked with some of the funnest, coolest brands in the world. Disney being like an all-time favorite of mine. And built some of the... Oh, no, that's it. Built 11 million followers. There's now 12 million followers. 7 billion views across all of our videos. And had the 3rd highest YouTube short of all time. Anyway, guys, now I've exposed all of my secrets to you. I leave you with one final question. What story are you now going to go off and tell the world? Thank you.
Subscribe for more sessions of NAS Summit from around the world.